Hey, Chris from Codify Academy here. In this video, I want to cover the most common mistakes I make and how you can avoid them. Common error number 1, using the incorrect selector. Often I don't select the correct element or elements that I want. The easiest way to avoid this is to add a class to an element or elements you want to style, then call that class in your CSS. Common error number 2, forgetting a comma when you want to apply properties to multiple selectors. Common error number 3, missing curly brackets after a selector is chosen in CSS. If you forget these, a lot of weird things are going to happen. Most likely, all your CSS won't apply. Common error number 4, missing a colon after a property. If you forget a colon after a property, it's not going to be good. Always remember the 2 dots after a property name. Common error number 5, missing a semicolon after every property and value pair. You have to have a semicolon. Without it, a bunch of weird things are going to happen. Again, most likely, your properties won't be applied. Common error number 6, using incorrect CSS properties. Sometimes I look up some spelling of properties I don't use all the time. Don't be ashamed. Just search what you think the name should be. Common error number 7, using incorrect CSS values. Often I'll forget a px after a number, for instance, and that's going to create an incorrect value error. So make sure to double check all the values that you put in when you add them, and if you need to, look up the values that you're adding to a given property. I also want to point out that CSS also has a color pattern. In my text editor, HTML selectors are red, my class selectors are orange, ID selectors are blue, properties are usually white, and values, depending on what type they are going to be a little bit different. So for instance, numbers with px are going to be orange, hexadecimal colors should be blue, the hash though will be orange, and a lot of the other syntax is white. If you see something that doesn't look right, you at least have a starting point. And if all else fails, we have our CSS validator, and that's going to tell us if we have any other errors. Just like the HTML validator, I use the direct method input. Just copy all, paste it, and check out your code. Hopefully you'll see this, which means that you're error-free. You don't have any syntax errors or spelling errors. Now over time, you're going to create a lot of errors and you're going to correct a lot of errors, and that's really, really good. You want that. Okay? You want to learn from your errors. You don't want to constantly create the same ones. So hopefully you'll find the ones that you create very often. And then you can correct them, and then you'll be able to code much faster. And in the future, we're going to look at some code that we've already broken for you, and we're going to debug that together. And just remember, for the most part, your errors right now in HTML and CSS are just going to be syntax and spelling. So always check those first.